was being.
All righty, guys. So welcome. Good morning, Kayetta.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How you feeling?
I'm feeling awesome. The birds are singing. We just got a sprinkling of water on the ground here, so the pollen is down. It's a great day.
I am super fired up and excited about this weekend.
Whoop whoop.
and, and so today, you guys, we wanted to kind of recap on what Melissa was talking about in her call, her amazing call on Monday, um, which she talked about the significance of Akana reaching 6 years. And she closed that call out with mindset. So we're going to go into mindset. But before we do, we just want to remind you of some of the things that she shared with us. So she talked about the 1 to 2% of network marketing companies that make it past 5 years. Only 1 to 2% of network marketers make it past 5 years. So that's the survival test.
Yeah.
And she also talked about culture, mission, and community trust. And this is things that ChatGPT pulled up for her in regards to our success, right? She also talked about a competitive market being overwhelming and that culture building was at its finest with us, right? She talked about us being in a position to be an industry giant, right? And what's amazing about that, Kathy, is that in 6 years, we're just getting started.
Oh my God, I feel the same way. Having been here all 6 years, you know, the obstacles that we've come across have made us grow stronger and held us up. It's been, how sometimes when you realize that you are doing the right thing because of the obstacles, the devil is so busy that when he
Oh my
sees
goodness.
that you are, because the dude don't take a break, right? So,
Right.
there's no vacation in ugly, right? And so it just ain't in that spirit. You just want to that spirit is ugly and destructive regularly, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you got to fight them for being on the job, but those obstacles that we come across has really refined and honed our company into greater focus and greater mission. And the mission that we have, Kayetta, is completely changing lives. If we think about the Tuesday call and the Tuesday community, I'm telling
Yes.
you, you can just hear the testimonials and see the evolution of people throughout the company. And so everything has been such blessing. And like you just said, 6 years in debt free and a focused future, we are just getting started.
Absolutely. So one of the things that she said was, don't focus on the problems, right? You want to have a positive mindset and you want to keep the faith, right? So we have a lot of reasons to celebrate. And one of the things that she said is that we want to celebrate the preparation of going into a new season of long-term legacy.
Whew, I
So
love that.
one of the things we want to make sure that we do is we want to make sure we don't miss the opportunity to give out personal invites right to this weekend's event. It's not too late. So you want to make sure that you're sending them, not just sending over a text or sending over an email, but make that personal connection and say, hey, I really want you to come and celebrate with us, right? And you want to also keep in mind that we have specials on the table and they're going to continue to roll out, okay? So make
Right.
sure you're positioned. Don't miss out on that buy three, get one free for the wellness products that's on the table right now. And like Kathy said, health, wealth, freedom, and legacy is our birthright. So we're going to go into an exercise that John Maxwell I took from John Maxwell. It's called Mindset Mastery Playbook. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to email the PDF out to you because this is not a one and done thing. We want you to look at this on how to apply it to your business, your team, and your personal development. So let's get into it. Right?
Whoa.
Because John Maxwell says the greatest gap in the world between successful people, a successful person, and an unsuccessful person is the thinking gap. So it's the power of thinking. So when we talk about everything begins with a thought, John Maxwell says your thinking more than anything else shapes the way you live. It's really true that if you change your thinking, you change your life. So what we think determines our actions, and our actions determine our outcomes.
Wow. I mean, it really, if you think you find yourself in a loop of negative thoughts or feelings, it prevents you from achieving the outcomes that you want, Kayetta, whether it's in your career, your personal or your professional relationships. If you have a challenging circumstance or even leading your team, so it's often hard to find out what next steps there are in order to win the outcome you deserve. See, negative thoughts can easily make anybody feel like they're failing and eventually giving up or settle. And Kadi, I believe that's so true, because it goes along with the idiom, you can't drive if you're always looking in the rear mirror.
Oh, yeah. And we all deal with negative thoughts differently, right? So maybe you try to ignore them or even dumb them down because you want to be a positive person, right? But successful people and great leaders have a unique ability to turn their negative thoughts into positive actions, not just positive thoughts, but positive actions, and ultimately achieve their goals.
Wow. Well, what's their secret, Kayetta?
I'll tell you, psychologists have discovered that negative thoughts form tighter grips on our mind when we try to ignore them, right? It doesn't just go away. It actually has a tighter grip. So have you ever heard the saying, what you resist persists? So instead of ignoring negative thoughts or giving into them altogether, it's better to acknowledge them, examine them, and reframe them into a mindset that works for you and not against you.
Wow. Reframing negative thoughts that prevent progress into positive thoughts that can fuel creative problem solving is a powerful technique that can benefit leaders in any challenging situation. So this exercise can be applied to business setbacks as well as personal setbacks. So we're going to walk through the positive mindset method with a hypothetical business team whose product launch didn't succeed as anticipated. Then we'll explore how the exercise can help in a personal situation like self-doubt.
I'm so excited. So let's get into it. By going through this four-step process, you will, number one, identify the negative thought and how it impacts your emotions. Secondly, question whether the negative thought is true or helpful.
Wow.
Thirdly, see the thought from a new perspective and focus on ways to improve. And fourthly, create clear action steps to grow and achieve your desired outcome. So the first example is the team application, and I'm going to go a little bit fast for the sake of time. But this will be a PDF that'll be sent out to you so you can review for later, because we want you to apply this. You're going to have some homework, okay? And so hopefully we can hear from you next week with some examples of how you applied it. So the scenario is your business launched a new product, but it did not succeed as anticipated. Here's the negative thought. Number one, the negative thought is your team begins to think negative thoughts such as, man, our product launch failed and we're doomed. We'll never recover. How many have experienced such
Oh my
a mess
Lord.
up or a blunder that you're like, oh man,
Ooh,
we're done,
Lord.
right?
Now the
But get
website down. We
right,
going out of
website
business.
down, right?
Oh,
Well,
y'all going
it's
out of business?
absolutely. Guess what? That negative thought has an emotional impact. It has an emotional impact. So this thought creates a negative emotional impact. Your team feels emotions like anxiety, despair, and hopelessness.
True.
So what do we got to do? We got a positive reframing by following these steps to reframe the negative thoughts into a positive thought. So that transitions us into step 2. Identify the core negative thought. What is this thought? Our product launch failed. That's the core. It failed, right? Now you got to challenge that negative thought by asking some of these questions. Number one, is this negative thought accurate? Is it accurate? Did it fail? Or did you just run into some challenges, right? Is it kind of done because the website went down, right? What evidence supports the answer that you came with or contradicts it? No, our website didn't go down because guess what? We can call Kathy, we can call customer support and still get that order in, right? Or could you just say, you know what, I just can't put any orders in. Or you can ask yourself, have other successful companies faced similar setbacks?
Yeah, if they
Who
was
else
in
has gone
CBD
through this?
there,
That's
if they were
right.
in the
Oh my
CBD
goodness.
market, they sure did face the same.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So after you've identified the core negative thought and you challenge that thought, now you move into step 3, which is reframe the thought with a balanced perspective. Not dismiss it. You know what? We just want to be happy, so we're just gonna not. It's not there. No, don't don't dismiss it, but you take that thought into captivity. The word talks about that all the time, right? So we reframe the thought with a balanced perspective. So here it is. Our product launch didn't go as planned, but it's an opportunity to improve.
Hello.
Other successful companies have faced similar setbacks and have bounced back. If they can do it, we can too, right? We can analyze what went wrong and make improvements, right? So that's reframing it. So now that you reframe that thought, right, now you move into focus. You want to focus on growth and learning. And I want to tell you that growth comes with growing pains. It doesn't always feel good. So be okay with that. And you want to ask yourself, what opportunities does this setback provide for growth and progress? That's the focus, growth and progress. So you ask questions like this, or you make statements like this. This setback will help us refine our strategy. We can adapt and innovate based on customer feedback. That's important, right? We got to listen. This failure was a necessary step to discover how we can better succeed in the growth. Is anybody looking at a comment and saying, you know what, wow, we've had some challenges and I see the growth? You see this being applied here? So that's step 3. So after reframing the negative thought, your team is thinking with a different mindset. And instead of feeling defeated, They see the setback as a chance for improvement.
Wow.
They approach the situation with resilience, creativity, and a problem solving mindset. Now, that's the third step. You reframed it, right? Now, let's create an action plan. The action plan is the last step is to develop a plan with clear action steps, clear and concise. Your team may decide to, number one, conduct a post-mortem analysis of the product launch or whatever the situation is, right? Gather feedback from customers and stakeholders. That's important. What get the feedback and don't be offensive about it. Receive it. Listen to it. First of all, people want to feel like they are appreciated and that they are important. So you want to make sure that you're giving them that free space. Gather feedback from, okay, so I said that. Adjust the marketing strategy and product features based on insights. And then implement changes and move forward with renewed determination. Implement changes and move forward with renewed determination. What does that lead you to? You'll also discover an improvement to the emotional impact of the failed project launch and new skills that your team learned along the way. So it reduces the stress and anxiety. It enhances the problem solving ability and it improves the decision making. Now, what I want to say is this, they said the team, but I want you to note that the leader is moving the team through this process. So that's you. That's you. So now you want to apply the same thing to your personal self. At this point, your team has transformed the negative thought into an opportunity to learn and grow. And you also have clear, actionable steps to resolve the issue that caused the negative thought in the first place. So now we're looking at a personal application. You believe you have great ideas to share with your team, but you're afraid to speak up because you think you don't communicate well.
Wow.
Number one, the negative thought is I'm terrible at communicating. People will judge me and I'll embarrass myself. Kathy, what's the emotional impact to that?
Well, it leads to that kind of thinking leads to anxiety and self-thought in you and makes you avoid sharing your opinion.
Mm-hmm. So positive reframing means to follow these steps to reframe the negative thought into a positive thought. So moving into step 2, you identify the core negative thought and that I'm terrible at communication. So how do you challenge that, Kathy?
Well, challenging a negative thought, you're going to ask yourself questions. Is it accurate? Am I really bad at communicating? What evidence supports or contradicts it? I mean, has somebody told you that before? Or has someone said you did a great presentation, Kayetta? And have there been times I've communicated my thoughts well? Well, when you shared with your spouse what your desire was for your anniversary trip, when you shared with your children what it is that they need to do to live up to the standards of the household. Did you communicate those things well?
So after you've identified and you've challenged your thought, then you're going into step 3, which is reframing the thought with a balanced perspective. Hey, I may feel anxious, but I've successfully articulated my thoughts to others before.
Yep.
And everyone struggles to get their thoughts across. Sometimes it's normal, or I can learn and improve my communication skills.
Yeah,
Not
right.
or, but we
Right.
always can improve, right? So then we want to focus on growth and learning. We're going to ask, what opportunities does this setback provide for growth and progress? So I'll take small steps to practice communicating. Mistakes are opportunities for learning. And I don't need to be perfect. I just need to connect.
Wow.
What do you think about that, Kathy?
Well, as a Virgo, we focus on perfection.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't tell you how many times I practice regular stuff that some people just let it roll off their tongue or what have you. I can't tell you how many times I feel that anxiety for having it perfect. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to compose an email and correct and recorrect and rewrite and
Yeah.
proofread. Yeah. So it's, we just need to connect and not be so hard on ourselves. Because see,
Yeah.
after reframing the negative thought, you're thinking with a different mindset. Think about that. I mean,
Yeah.
when you reframe that, it's like, oh, you know what? I'm not so bad.
Yeah.
Instead of feeling defeated, you see it as an opportunity to develop a new skill and foster a new sense of confidence. And you can approach the situation with resilience, creativity, and problem solving mindset. So, what's next, Kayetta?
The last step, which is number 4, creating an action step. The last step is to develop a plan with clear and concise action steps. So you may decide to intentionally take small steps to communicating ideas to 1 or 2 people before you get into in front of a big crowd. You're going to challenge negative thoughts during interactions. Now you're talking to someone and then a thought pops up in your head, challenge it right then and there. Nope. How do I look at this? Celebrate small victories. We got to learn to celebrate the small victories, like initiating a conversation or maintaining eye contact. Yeah, I did that, right? Work up to communicating to larger groups. And as a result, you'll also discover an improvement to the emotional impact of the negative thought and new skills that you learned along the way. What does that do? It reduces anxiety of public speaking, improves self-confidence, greater ability to communicate your thoughts under pressure. And by going through this process, Akana Nation, you will find yourself and your team shifting from negative thoughts to positive action.
I love
And
it.
this exercise will also positively change the mindset of anyone who participates. So when you're in a pinch and need to change your mindset quickly, here are some helpful examples of simple questions that can quickly change your thoughts from negative to positive. Help me out with this one, Kathy.
So instead of asking this question, how long is this going to take? Ask, how far can I go? Woo,
Mhm.
wow. Instead of asking, what if this doesn't work? Ask, what if it works?
That's right,
How about
right.
that? And instead of asking, what is this going to cost me? Ask, what is it going to gain? What am I going to
That right
gain?
there.
Okay,
That right
that part right there. And
there. Yes.
instead of asking, what skills do I lack? Ask, what skills do I possess? Those are so simple and positive turnarounds. I mean, what do you think that they should do next?
I think that you all should take, and we all should take, a negative thought that we may have or had and apply this. Work it out, and work through that. And all through the week, let's do that. Let's start with, if you're afraid of inviting people to this event, or you feeling like, hey, I should have sent this earlier, it might be too late. What if they don't want to come? what if they do come? Right? What if they do come? We want to definitely make sure that we are in the building this weekend. We want to make sure that we're in high spirit. We have a lot to celebrate. And I look forward to seeing everybody because this will be my first conference. So I'm excited. And let's do our homework and let's get better together. Back to you,
That
Jackie.
is awesome. I'm looking forward to you sending out the PDF because I believe that there's going to be an exercise that they can participate in where they'll be able to think about some of the negative thoughts that they have and then challenge those thoughts for themselves. And so, team, we just encourage you that when you receive this PDF to really look at it and see this exercise that allows you to put some things that you might not be sharing here, but as I was talking to a caller earlier this morning, you're going through whatever you're going through, and everybody might not be going through what you're going through, but how can you take your situation and flip it? How can you flip it to negative thought? And you can do that in any scenario, okay?
Right.
And so no matter how big or small. And so just don't let negativity be the dominance of your day, your week, your month, or your year.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And
this has been awesome with you. This has been awesome with you. Thank you for sharing it with me.
Thank you. Thank you. And have a great kind of day.
Well, guys, do remember that we still have the buy 3, get 1 free on the coffee, the Aronia powder, and the fuel. So this is the time. This is the time. And plus, it's 15% off. So you got buy 3, get 1 free. You got 15% off on the whole website. And this is our anniversary. Remember, it's double CV this month, too. So keep it pushing. Keep it going. Keep the mission flowing, and we will see you where? At the top, the tip top. And this time we are busting through the top. We busting. Kayetta, this has been awesome to share with you. I just appreciate you so much. And Akana Nation, have a fantastic day.
I appreciate you too.
Oh, bye. Tonight's call is I'm sorry, this is Wednesday. Girl, I'm already on Thursday. All right. But today's live event at 1 p.m., you definitely want to make sure you invite and show up, okay? Y'all have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.